Hello. What we're going to be looking at in this lecture is the concept of advertising audit. Audits are basically aspects which are used as checklists that are there. Audits are mandatory aspects to ensure that the proper functioning and the proper utilization of resources keeps happening over and over again. Similarly, in advertising, to ensure that everything falls in place, everything is best utilized, is done. This concept or this approach is termed in as advertising audits. They help in as guiding forces for the budgets. They help in the proper resource allocation. They help in the concept of ensuring that the people are performing their tasks to the best of their abilities. Let's begin with the slides to understand this concept. As we said, it's a management tool assisting managers to arrive at interrelated decisions on marketing and advertising. Means it is a technique or a tool used by the managers to reach at decisions which are affecting and influencing the marketing for a firm and the advertising aspects that are there. It is about ensuring that there is a proper equilibrium maintained in the activities that are being performed. It enables advertising managers to assess success of the advertising campaign and implementing the advertising strategies. A huge help and a huge guiding force, which is that it is enabling advertising managers to assess success of the advertising campaign. Audits are ensuring that the feedback about what is being done and how is it being done and the resource allocations done are bearing results and fruits or not, and how the future advertising strategies can be implemented. What is it that should be done so that the advertising strategies take shape? That's what advertising audits are helping to do. It is a sequence of decision-making steps for analysis of resources, opportunities, objectives, and strategies. Five very strong and very crucial things. It's a sequence of decision making, which means advertising audits is giving you a one after the other decision making steps. It's offering you a guiding situation. It is giving you a analysis of the resources that are available, the resources that are allocated versus the opportunities that are there in the market, the objectives that need to be achieved or are not getting achieved, and the strategies that need to be implemented or can be implemented for its usage. So the advertising audits would be a safe bet to be saying act like guiding force in the advertising world. They help managers to lay down their paths to success. That's what and how they are proceeding. To ensure that advertising audits bear proper results, the advertising audits are usually divided into three parts, or they are advertising aspects are audited in three different perspectives. The three different perspectives in which the advertising audits are done are the internal resource audit, the advertising agency audit, and the decision process audit. The internal resource audit, or the IRA as it is referred to as, is a very crucial aspect about knowing the strengths and the capabilities of the firm internally in its marketing and advertising areas. The advertising agency audits, or the 3A's or the AAA, is about analyzing the right choice of the advertising agency that is there, or selecting the right advertising agency for achieving the goals. And the decision process audit, or the DPA, is the aspect of a holistic approach about the way forward as far as advertising goes. In the next slides, we are going to review all these strategies one by one and understand how they operate and what are the benefits of auditing these three parts that are there. We first start with the IRA, or the Internal Resource Audits. This is done to determine the capability of an advertising manager to develop an advertising program without any real-time advertising which is there. This considers of three dimensions, which is the people, the money, and the time. Product, marketing, and consumer related factors are used to attain objectives using internal resources. Let's understand what these are meaning. We're talking about the IRA. This is basically an audit done to analyze the capabilities of the advertising manager and the marketing strategies or the techniques adopted, to see and to figure out if, by using the people, the money, and the time available, can the firm do without real-time advertising, which means can the product marketing and the consumer related factors be used to attain the goal of advertising. Or in other words, it's about analyzing and seeing how can the advertising manager manage to advertise using the internal resources through the marketing strategies where a real-time advertisement may not be required. Or in other words, the message through the marketing situations or through the customer relationship management is spread out and reaches the customer for the desired actions. This audit helps the firms in getting in to save their money on real-time investment and utilizing its internal resources for the desired set of results that are there. IRA, if does not offer a full-time situation, offers a firm with the options of using internal resources for advertising rather than going out to an ad agency as well, which means if the marketing efforts or the customer relationship factors are not managing to spread the message completely into the market, the firm can look at utilizing its own people, its own money and time to do that rather than relying on an advertising agency or an outsider force to do the same. The second type of audit which is done under the advertising audits is the AAA audit, or the advertising agency audit that is there. This audit is done to figure out the capacity of the advertising agency which the firm is looking at for doing the job. The review of this audit is meant to figure out the media capacity of the advertising firm or the agency's approach to problem solving decisions and the capability to take up advertising tasks. All these are evaluated apart from the agency's internal management perspectives, which means the AAA audit under the advertising audit is actually looking at analyzing and selecting the best advertising agency for the firm. The AAA audit is looking at all the aspects of an ad agency for its performance. it would review the internal management of the advertising agency. It would look at the capability of the advertising agency for achieving the desired goals. It would look at the agency's media capacity in terms of booking the slots or in terms of getting the best coverage, or would look at the problem solving capacity of the advertising agency. The AAA audit helps an organization or an advertising manager to ensure that he gets the best service out of the best agency on offer. This helps and facilitates the situation of ensuring that the advertising campaign is in the right hands. The third audit is the decision process audit, or the DPA, that is there. The DPA is a very crucial audit because it is the audit of all management decisions necessary for the analysis, implementation and measure of the advertising program. The DPA is basically an overview of the management decisions being taken for the advertising situation. The DPA actually looks at the analysis which have been done. It looks at the implementation of the steps which are being taken and the measure of the outcomes that are coming out. So the DPA is actually acting as a overview situation for all the activities that are happening. Now in advertising audits, all these three aspects that are there depends on how and when they are done for effective utilization. The DPA process is that it includes communication audits, marketing analyst audits, advertising objective audits, advertising expenditure audits, marketing media strategy audits. So what we are looking at here is that within the DPA, a lot of different avenues of the marketing situation are being audited, because once all these are audited, they give you an insight into how the marketing and the advertising aspects are proceeding hand in hand. It gives you an insider into about the action and the reaction and the coexistence of both the activities happening simultaneously. The DPA is basically an overview of the complete advertising process in direct relationship to the marketing activities being conducted by the organization. Having said this, the success of the audits depend on when and how they are conducted. When we say that the success of the audit depends on these factors, it basically means that if the audits are done and analyzed with the proper results before the other strategies are implemented, they would have fantastic results for the organization and for the advertising situations. With this, we move on to the next topic. But I hope you have well understood the role of the audits and you've had a good insight into the requirement for the different types of audits that are there and how they're necessary as checkpoints for advertising and its success. The next topic that we are going to be looking at under this is the point of purchase displays. The point of purchase displays is a very important situation in the advertising world. It's a relatively newly introduced concept that is there. Why has it taken shape? Why it has taken shape is because advertisers worldwide have realized this aspect, that customer memory is short. He does not mostly remember what he had heard or seen earlier. So at the entry point of the markets or at the billing counters in the big retail formats, displays serve as reminders and instigate impulsive buying. The POP displays, as I said, is a relatively newer thing because advertisers have realized that targeting the customer at the point of purchase is necessary. Why is it necessary? Is because one huge factor that is there is that the amount of competition has increased multiple fold. The second reason is that the exposure of a customer to multiple channels, the exposure of the customer to a lot of advertisement has led on to what we call in as closure of the mindsets of the customers, which means he sees and he hears all the things, but he has stopped registering it. When such a situation arises, advertisers and firms have realized that they need to refresh the memory of the customer, and no better way to refresh it but do it at the point of purchase. So the point of purchase displays influence at the point and immediately remind the purchaser of the benefits that he may be getting. Point of purchase displays have over the last few years shown a lot of positive results for the advertisers. People tend to go out to the market where the clarity of the mind on the product is not there. They tend to decide on the spot what to do. And if they're deciding on the spot what to do, what to buy, the POP always helps. To achieve the POP target or to achieve the goal of the POP displays, a lot of different forms of POP displays have taken shape. The different forms of POP displays that have taken shape over the last few years and have got innovated into the aspects are signages. Different attractive signages right at the entry of the markets, or right at the entry of the stores, or right at the roadsides to guide the customers into the stores have played a huge role. The window displays itself. Artistically, tastefully done window displays act as the point of purchase situation for the customers and the retailers. The wall displays, both inside and outside the stores, act as the point of purchase motivational advertising aspects. The sound displays, the music being played both inside and outside the stores tends to guide the people towards the store aspects that are there. Last but not the least, the promotional baskets placed right at the billing counters. I am sure all of us have experienced this situation many a times. When we are waiting in the queue to get billed, especially at the big retail format stores like a Big Bazaar or a Reliance, the first thing that we tend to do is look at the baskets that are placed around the billing counter, because at that point of time we have nothing else to do, so we tend to scavenge through the baskets that are there, and more than often tend to pick up a lot of products out of those, because it becomes an aspect of impulsive buying for us. Therefore, the point of purchase displays and the point of purchase promotion usually works in the favor of the organizations a lot. Many customers, as we said, do not go with a clear mindset of purchase, and their decision to buy is usually made on the spot. And when a POP display is there on the spot, nothing works better than that. POP are usually used for consumption goods. POPs are not very successful for the non-consumption goods, or in other words, small products or easily consumable products by the customers usually tend to be very successful on the POP aspects, but the non-consumption utility item aspects do not really have that kind of a success rate, though they are also desired. They also increase the desire aspects which are there, but usually do not get into the impulsive buying brackets that are there. We have one last aspect to be covered under this topic, and that is called in as the transit advertising. Transit advertising is actually, in other words, called in as the advertisement on the move. Advertisement on the move means advertisements that are placed on vehicles or modes of transportations. So advertisements appearing on the taxis, advertisements appearing on the railways, advertisements appearing in the metros, advertisements appearing on the airports are all classified as transit advertisings that are there. Transit advertising is a relatively newer means. As a matter of fact, as late as this week, we are seeing the vibrant Gujarat ads coming up on the trains. Why are they used? Why are these type of mediums adopted? The reason why they are used and why these mediums are adopted is because they are relatively low cost mediums with a very high viewership which is there. Imagine the amount of people who are exposed to a train which is painted with your message. These are what are very important factors in ensuring a very high viewership aspects that are there. Transit advertising is taking a lot of shape and has a very bright future for advertisers. Though they may pass off quickly, but they surely catch the eye, and advertisers have to remember that aspect. With this, we come to the summary of the unit, and I hope you've had a good insight into all the three aspects that we have looked at: the advertising audits and the techniques of advertising audits that are used, the point of purchase technique and the point of purchase situation, and the transit advertising. I hope you've had a reasonably good insight into these things. So let's look at the summary to summarize the unit. Advertising audits are techniques to ensure that proper checklists are put in place to ensure success of the advertiser's plannings. The checklists are done through the channel of the audits, and they are done through the three different types of audits that are there, which are the IRA or the internal resource audits, the AAA or the advertising agency audits, or the DPA or the decision process audits that are there. All these three units combined together give a holistic auditing situation for the firm and the managers to ensure proper management of the advertising. The point of purchase is a crucial tool in advertising, and if used can get a lot of mileage for the firm, which means advertising which is bearing direct results for the organization can be used as the POP format. I hope we are well versed with all these topics now. With this, we end this lecture. Thank you very much for paying the attention.